Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss our question about flood in the city. So what we are given that in a country there are infinite number of lakes. So all the lakes are initially empty, but when it rains over the nth lake, okay, when it rains over the nth lake, the lake becomes full of water, right? So if it becomes full of water, then if again rain happens, then eventually flood is going to happen. We are given an array of what array represents and which lake it is going to rain. Okay, let's understand it better. So what we are given is a array as our input. So what the array elements represent, let's say we got 5, right? So here what 5 represent is a lake number. What does that mean? That there is a lake 5. Okay, and in this lake, as we know, there are infinite number of lakes, but we are only caring about the lake where rain happens. So in the 5th lake, rain is going to happen. Perfect. So let's say we got one more element and it is anything. Let's take 8. So what that indicates again, that in the 8th lake, 8 denotes the number of the lake. In this lake, rain is going to happen and it is going to get filled with water. Right. Again, let's take one more element. So if we got 15, then again focus on it. What it denotes, that there is a lake and the lake number is 15, right? And then in this lake, rain happens and it gets filled with water, right? Now let's understand when flood is going to happen. So when flood is going to happen, let's say here we got one more element, that is 8. So what that denotes, that in the 8th lake rain is going to happen again, and if rain happens here again, that it is going to get flooded because it is already filled with water. Then it is going to get flooded. Okay, so now to avoid our rain from getting flooded, right, what we got is a 0. So let's see how 0 works here. Okay, so for example, let me show you again with a new array. Okay, so this time we got 2, 3, 0, and then again 2. Okay, so let's understand this. So what 2 denotes is a lake number where rain happened and water got filled. Then again we got a lake 3, right? We got a lake 3 here. What it denotes, that in the lake 3 rain happens, so it gets filled with water. Perfect. Now it is 0. We got a 0. What 0 indicates, that no rain is going to happen. That's not all. It also says that when we get a 0, we got a power that we can dry a lake, right? So we can dry a lake. So what that means, if I am at 0, I have the power to dry a lake. Let's say I dry the lake 2. So if I dry this lake, now I dry 2 because we know that 2 is going to occur in the future. So now if we come at here on this 2, so again it is dried now. So if 2 come, it is not going to get flooded this time. It will get filled with water again because rain happens. So how 0 helped us is 0 dried this 2th lake. So what 0 do is dry the lake for us. Okay, let's take one more example, and this time we will also focus on that what we have eventually return in our answer. Okay, so we got 5, 2, 0, 0, and let's say we got 2. Perfect. So in our answer, we have to create a answer array. What this answer array will store, let's see. Okay, also let me define the indexes here. So what is it? 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. Now we are at the 0th index. We got 5. So what 5 denotes, that in the fifth lake, rain is going to occur and it is going to get filled with water. Perfect. Now we get a 2, and what 2 denotes that in the 2th lake, rain is going to happen and it is going to get filled with water. Right. So in these cases, when rain happens, so in our answer, what do we have to store? We have to simply store a -1. What -1 denotes? That rain happens. Okay, so besides 5 2, we store -1. Now we get a 0. So what 0 indicates, I want to repeat again, that 0 indicates that no rain is going to happen this time. Also, you have a power that you can dry a lake. Okay, so here we get 0. We are confused that which lake to dry right now. But let's just talk that in the future, 2 is going to 2th lake is going to get rain again. So I see that it is advantageous. To dry my 2th lake. So what I'm going to do is dry my 2th lake. Right. So if using this 0, I dry my 2th lake. So what do I have to store here in my answer array? That which lake I dry. So that is the 2th lake. Then this time we get a 0. What 0 indicates? No rain and I can dry a lake. But as you can see, at this time there is no point in drying a lake. Why is that? Because here 5 is never coming back again. As we know, it is not beneficial to dry the 5th lake. So in that case, we are going to simply put a 1 here. It's a default value when we don't use a 0, when we don't use its special power, that is to dry a lake. We are going to put 1 here, and then we are at the 4th index. We get a 2 and we simply fill it. But it will not get flooded, of course, because we did already dried it, and here we put -. So that will be our answer. That's how we will store our answer. Okay, let's quickly see some more cases before moving to the solution. So if we got 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So of course that denotes that you got that you got 4 lakes. You got 4 lakes. 2, 3. Camera might be interrupting. Let me drag it here. Yeah, again. So what that denotes, that we got 4 lakes, 2, 3, 4, 5. In these 4 lakes, rain occurs. So that's what it denotes. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the answer array, what we are going to simply put -1, -1, -1, and -1. Okay, now one more case, the last case that I want to discuss. Okay, here I want to just put it here as well, so that you can compare all these cases. So here, what if we got 2, then 5, then again 2. Okay, so this is our answer array. So what that indicates, that in the 2th lake. Okay, I hope you don't get confused. Let me put it here, that right a bit, and down. Perfect. Okay, so here what it is indicating, that in the 2th lake, rain happens. Perfect. In the 2th lake, rain happens. So in the answer, what I'm going to store is a -1, because rain happens. Perfect. Now what else it indicates, that in the 5th lake, rain happens. Perfect. In the answer, I store -1. It's blue. Let me do it with blue color. Now we get a 2 again. So if we get a 2 again, we check that if there is a 0 present. No, there is not a 0 present, right? Nobody to try. So in that case, it is definite that our lake is going to get flooded. So if our lake is going to get flooded, are you getting why it's going to get flooded? Because it was already filled, the lake, because of the previous rain. Then again rain happens. So it will get overflowed and flood will occur. So in that case, what will be our answer? Now our answer will be not this. Our answer will be empty array. Simply empty vector, empty array. Okay. So that's it for the question understanding. Now we will discuss the major solution. Okay. So before that, I want to discuss that think about what we are basically required to do. A task is to avoid flood. A task is to avoid flood. So let's see how we will do it. Okay. So first I want to discuss the conditions when flood is happening. Okay. So here if we got a x, if we got a x element, here also if we got a x element. Right. So what that denotes that in the x lake rain happens. Then again in the x lake rain happens, so it will get flooded this time. Okay. So when we are getting flooded, when two values come again, right, come again. So we know that to know that whether in this lake, whether in the X lake rain already occurred or not, what we can do? We can store it. We can store it, right? We can store it using what? We can store it using a map. Using a unordered map. Okay. So here, what our map is going to store is when earlier rain happened. When earlier rain happened and whether in this lake rain has happened or not. So what that means is it is going to store the value and the index. Okay. So if this is 0th index, this is first index. So it is going to store 0 here and x here, that is our value, and 0 before coming to the first index. Perfect. So we know that using a map we can get to know whether rain happened in this lake or not. Now I want to discuss this case. Let's say here a 0 was present. So if a 0 was present, the 0 had power to dry this lake, right? But let me show you with the visualization. So here, let me also write the indexes 0, 1. So in the 0th index, what happened? In the X lake, rain occurred. Now we came at the first index. Now in the first index, we are novice. We don't know what to do. Right? We don't know because we don't know in the future. In the future, it is going to rain at which lake, right? We don't know that rain is going to occur where. So what we are going to do is simply store it. Simply store its index. So in the future, when rain happened at a particular lake, we can see if there is a 0 present between them or not, right? Between them or not, between the days. For example, this is 0th day, this is first day, this is second day. So if rain happened on the second day again, so we can see if after the 0th day, and before me, if any day we had 0, so that means I can dry it. So I'm going to store it into a data structure. I'm going to store my 0, right? So I will just simply store its index. So 0 index. Okay. Now I want you to show an example from the start, and we are going to see that how we will eventually compute our answer. Okay. So let's say we got an array 2, or I am tired of taking 2. Let's take something else. Let's take 4, 6, 0, 0, 4, 6. Okay, now let's see. Let me also write the indexes here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Now we are at the 0th index. And now we check that if the 4 value in the 4th lake rain have already happened or not. So rain have not already happened. So we simply put the value that is 4 with the indexes that is 0. So in the 4th lake, rain happened at the 0th day. Let's say this is our day, right? Now we get to the first index. We are here. Now we check if 6 leg is present in our map. No, it is not present, so we will simply put it with its index. Okay, you will understand why index is helping us. Just stay with me. Right. What? Yeah, right. Now we came at the 2th index. Now what's special here? That we got a 0. So if we are here, we don't know that we should use this 0 for whom. Also, let me create an answer array here so that you never get confused that we eventually need to store the answer, right? So here it is going to get -1 because it rains. Here it is going to be -1 as well. Now we are at the 2th index. So here we don't know that what will be beneficial for us. We should drive which lane. We don't know for now. So for now, what we will do, we are going to simply put its index here, right? We are going to simply put its index here in some data structure. Okay, so I'll put its index. Let's say it is 2, right? And here in our answer, what I'm going to store? So for that, I want you to show something, right? I want you to show an example that we, I think, missed, right? We didn't miss it, that we discussed here, right? So here we put a 1 because we are not using the 0, right? We are not using the 0. For example, we got 2 and a 0. So in that case, here we'll put -1, but this 0, we don't need to utilize this 0. We don't need to utilize because rain is not going to occur on any lake again. So we were simply putting a 1 here. So that's what we will do. We will simply put a 1 for now. If we use it in the future, we are going to override it. So I simply put a 1 here. Now I get to here. So here also I'm going to put it into my data structure, right? Its index. And for now I'm going to put a 1 here. Now comes the interesting part. I come at the 4th index and I got the value 4. And I see that the value 4 is present in my unordered map. So if it is present in our unordered map, that means the rain has already occurred in the particular lake. So to stop it from getting flooded as rain is happening again, I need to find a 0. Okay, so from where I should find a 0? That comes the question. Here there are 2 0, right? 2 0, 2th index and 3rd index. So can I pick any of the 0? No, I cannot pick any of the 0. Why is that? So why is that? Let's say here between them, right? One between them, or let's say between 4 and 6, one more 0 is present. Okay. So if for 4 you pick any of the 0, if you pick any of the 0, then there is a chance that you might take a 0 for another lake that can dry another lake. So because we have already used that 0, so you won't use that 0. So for that, what will be the most beneficial for us to take a 0? That is the first 0 from our lake, right? That happened just the first upcoming day. Okay, so here how we will do it? So for that, I'm just saying it a data structure. So which data structure we are going to use here is a set. Why is that? So by set we can get the just higher value, the lower bound value in log n operation. So we can get it in log n operation, so it will not be that costly. So that's why we are using a set here. Perfect. Now again, let's talk what we are going to do. So we are at the 4th index. We see that if there is we are the 4th index, we check if the value 4 is present in our map or not. So it is present. So what we are going to check after its index. So its index is 0. If after its index is there any 0 that is present, right? So we need the 0. So yes, a 0 is present at the 2th index. A 0 is present. So what we are going to do first? So if we are using this 0, so in the 2th index we have to mark that for which lake we are using. We are using it for 4th lake. We marked it. Perfect. So if we are using it, we simply have to remove it because we have used the 0 to draw a lake. And here what we have to put? We have to put -1 now because because now it's simple, rain is going to happen, it's not getting flooded. So that's completely fine. Right? It's completely fine. Now, have we done all our steps? Think about it. Have we done all our steps? No, we have not. Because let's say here you got a 4 again. That means that rain again happens in the fourth lake. Right? So for that, you need to find a 0 after where the lake happened the last time. Right? So what we have to do is update it. It's to update our map with the index of the latest lake. That is 4. Perfect. So now we move to the last index and we see if 6 is present in our map. Yes, it is present. So then we are going to check if after first index any 0 is present or not. So yes, it is present. So we are going to use it. So how we are using it? First, in the answer, in the third index, we are going to put, we are using it for whom? We are using it for our 6th lake. So here I inserted a 6. Perfect. Then if I've used it, I have to remove it from a set. I removed it. Here I'm going to write -1 because rain is happening, right? Now it's not getting flooded because I have already avoided it. And of course, I'm going to update my value index. That is V5. Perfect. So that's how I will solve this. It's the code is simple, just the way we discussed. Right. Now let's code it. Yeah. So first, what we will be needing? We will needing an ordered map to store what? To store that the rain is happening at which lake and on which day, you can say. Correct. The index. And we need a set. We need a set because set is going to give us the lower bound, the 0 in log n time. So we are going to store the zeros, the dry day in our set. Right. So set int, I'm going to call it zeros basically. That is going to store zeros for us. Also, I need a resultant vector. So vector that is going to store our result. Int that is going to store our answer. So our first step was going to be to traverse our array. Range dot size I plus. Now let's break it into simpler steps. So the easiest thing that we know, if rain don't happen, then what we do? First thing, we put it in our map. So zeros dot add dot insert. 0 dot insert. We simply add its index. And in the answer, we simply push back what? We push back 1 because that's the default value of a 0. Like when we don't use a 0, we simply add a 1. We are gonna override it in the future if we use it. Now, else. So what is the else case? Else case denotes that if already rain happened on our lake or not. So for that we are gonna check if our map contains, right? If map find rains I map dot end, right? So what that means, it's basically checking if our map already contains the lake where rain happened, right? So if it already contains the lake where rain happened, so to stop it, we need to find a 0. So we need to find the next 0. So auto next, right? Lower bound zeros. This is our set dot lower bound. Why lower bound? Because I need the just larger index value, right? Where map range I, that is going to give it this index, right? Perfect. So what this lines means, that give me the next zero. Give me the index of just the next zero, right? As we are here, we were storing the index, right? So we are getting the index and we are getting the just next zero from the index, right? Then what we check? What we check, if next equal to 0, not end. So what that means, if no zero exists, if there is no zero exists to dry or take, that means that there is no, that you can't stop it from getting flooded. You are gonna return an empty vector. Okay, if that is not the case, that means that we are using that zero. So answer next is equal to, you are using that zero, so you have to mark in an answer array. You are using it for which lake, right? You are using it for which lake. Here it will be range I. And then, yeah, if you are using it, you have to also erase it from your set zeros dot erase. Next. Perfect. So this was the if case, right? So what was the if case? That if our map contains, our map already contains the lake that is filled with water, then we will find it, right? So what if it don't contains? Then what we are going to do? First, if that is the case, then of course we have to put it in our map. We have to add it in our map. So map range I. So the rain happened at which index? Range I is equal to I. So you add it in our map, and we have to also update in our answer. So whenever rain was happening, right? That's the case whenever rain happens. So what we add is simply a -1 answer dot pushback -1, right? And then we return what? We return our answer. Now let's try running our code and see if this works or not. Successful. Now let's submit it. Perfect. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, do not forget to like, comment and share. Thanks for watching.